Hello, everybody, and you're very welcome back again to another Empowering Family Health podcast episode. Today, I have the lovely Seamus Power here, and Seamus is the founder of Powering Health, and he is also a Heartmath coach as well, which we're going to get into that discussion as well. So, Seamus, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Joanne. Thanks for the opportunity as well to share what I'm doing and a little bit, I guess, about my story, my background as well. So thanks, and I'm looking forward to the chat.
Yeah, and it's really important, Seamus, because your work is incredibly powerful, and I was very drawn to you. We met in the Outstanding Network group, in Pat Slattery's group. And it's funny, I was just sharing a story with you there just before we start talking. I've been introduced to a couple of Heartmath coaches in the space of a week, which is like synchronicity, and it's not I don't believe in coincidences. So I'm really drawn to this work and the power of the work. And I did hop onto one of your meditations, which we'll get into, and we'll talk about that later on in the course of our conversation. So before we begin, Seamus, this is going to be an incredible conversation, folks. So before we get in, Seamus, can you tell us a little bit about your background, just a little bit about your background, but also why you love this work and why you think it's so valuable, why you're passionate about it?
Yeah, I guess really like most people that I've come across throughout my life, really, it's around my own experience and learning and growing through everything I've done in my life, really. So, when I was starting out in life, in my teens and so on, a real poor sense of communication with myself and low confidence and wondering about life and purpose and all this good stuff. And really that kind of stayed with me right throughout my career. So when I began my career, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and ended up really falling through the first half of my life and the first half of my career until I really found out, there's a big problem here with modern lifestyle. So as I started as a techie way back in the late 80s, early 90s, there's a very clear demarcation between work and life, work and life. So you went in, did your work, and then went home and did your other things you had a passion for. So I really loved hurling and sports. So I was very fit. So I had a very, very nice balance in my life. But as I progressed through my career, and as the internet came along, email came along, completely lost balance. So I had great opportunities with a large corporate IT company that I worked with. So fantastic. And I couldn't say a bad thing about them. Really learned a lot on a very quick and progressive career. On the other side, I had a lot of experience of developing migraines. So as I was beginning to actually go on a very progressive career path, I found my health and the impacts on my health associated with changes in my lifestyle. So the working long hours, the stress, maybe lack of sleep sometimes, the diet and lack of good exercise, just out of balance essentially. So that was my trigger. I guess after 20 years in this rat race, if you want to call it that, of then looking at, what's going on here, what's behind the reasons for this lack of balance. And I didn't have that clarity of being out of balance at the time. And I think that's still a challenge for many people today. So that's really been the trigger for what I've been doing in the last probably 10 years or so in helping myself, but also realizing, I'm not the only one on this journey, and I could help a lot of other people. And that's really the reason behind Powering Health and what I'm doing today, which is around driving awareness of the impact of our modern lifestyle, those four pillars I spoke about, the diet, the stress, the exercise, and sleep, and helping people realize, how we communicate with ourselves and how we, what are the key aspects of our own lifestyles that we actually change and tweak in June to be more comfortable and be better people, and live healthier and more active lives and just be healthy in ourselves, I guess,
Yeah, it's really powerful, Seamus, what you're saying. And I wrote down a couple of words there. You said communication, clarity, and awareness. So there are 3 words that I wrote down. I just want to hone in on them a little bit more. So communication. So and I suppose they all go into each other. Like for many people, we don't know how to express ourselves, but we also don't know we can't read our own emotions. We don't know how we're feeling. We don't know. We don't have clarity, and therefore we don't have power. Then we've lost our power when we don't have clarity. We can't see. We don't know what to do next, and that's what I can hear. And then the awareness. So we're obviously not aware. And I think, Seamus, what's going on in the world at the moment? It's a very busy, chaotic world, and now with this whole pandemic, if you want to call it, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, and it's working for some people, but there's definitely a shift on some level for everybody. So now more than ever, I think, and an awful lot of people are asking those questions, like what you were saying, why am I feeling this way, and how can I get out of this rat race, and there's a better life for me. So can you talk to us a little bit more about this chaoticness that we have in our lives and why it's having such a massive impact?
I mean, that's been something I've struggled with myself for a long time, and I see it all around me. The busyness of everything. So everything has to be done quickly, quickly, quickly. Can't be done quickly enough.
Yeah.
And that's something I realized. So and paradoxically, that's slowing us down, and the multitasking and getting things done and the instant gratification. It's all really up here in our heads.
Yeah.
Really wrong. The analogy that I used in a recent conversation with you is around the rev counter on a car, and it's probably the best analogy I can think of. So that you've got your rev counter in your car, and the car is designed to go at high revs.
Mm-hmm.
But our optimal zone is really down at the lower revs. But we find ourselves, and the car by design is meant to go at those higher revs. So you want to overtake another car or tractor, whatever it is on the road, you put the boot down, hit the high revs, but come back down as quickly as possible. But what I'm finding is myself and many people, around me, were in that high rev zone all the time and not really coming off that high. And then what's going to happen with the car if you hit the high revs all the time? It's going to explode. And I think that's a very good analogy for how a lot of people are feeling right now. It is that they're in the high revs and not coming down to give themselves a breather. And again, that's what really appealed to me around the Heartmath stuff, was really around giving people the physiological reset. So when you're hitting those high revs, here's a mechanism for you to bring yourself back down to your optimal performance zone. And that's really, in essence, why I think Heartmath is so important and why it plays a huge role in helping people to move and shift from this automatic high rev zone that many people are in into your optimal performance zone down at those lower revs, I guess.
Yeah, and what I can hear there, Seamus, is we're in our head quite an awful lot, because we're always trying to analyze, and when we're in the head, or the ego, if you like, our ego is trying to keep us safe, obviously, but it's also preventing us from doing new things and change. Our ego doesn't like change, and our ego likes to have power as well. But this prevents us from really connecting with who we truly are ourselves, and find out what our values are, if you like, and then we can talk about so we're always in the state of busyness and multitasking, you mentioned as well. So when we're multitasking, we're not focused, and therefore we're not giving our best performance.
And I think a lot of the time we're trying to be someone else as well. I mean, to say, just recently, and I know I looked at that Amy Cummy video, Fake It Till You Make It, and I know she was making very valid points around challenging yourself and overcoming challenges you might have in your life. But I think some people are maybe taking her message too literally and faking it. And it goes back to the high revs, that you're faking it all the time. And exactly as you said, people are afraid to be them true, to be their true selves. And you get into a habit of faking it to make it all the time, and suddenly you find out that you're faking and being someone that you're not, that you aren't truly, that you're not that true person, and you're being disloyal to yourself by going into this mindset of faking it to become it. But you're forgetting about who you are yourself, really. And I think that's a trap as well. A lot of people are falling into.
And we're trying to live up to expectations, I think, of other people. So we're reacting or being who we're being, which is driven by other people's expectations. And therefore we're comparing ourselves to other people as well. So when we're being that way, we're not totally fulfilled. So that's the bottom line, and therefore we're not having complete happiness and all of that. Everyone's striving for happiness, of course. So Seamus, so we're in this crazy busy world. Always, we're trying to meet other people's expectations and trying to please other people. What is it that we're missing? What was it? We talk about the emotions, okay, and the emotions are there for a reason. This is energy in the body, emotions. Can you talk a little bit about what our emotions are? So we have various different types of emotions, and what is it that we're missing about our emotions?
Yeah, I mean, our emotions are our friend. I mean, that's the first thing I'd say. And our emotions are there. We're designed, to our body is designed to help us and provide feedback around what's going well and what's not going well. So we get an emotion of happiness. It's to tell us, this is really happy. You're in a good place. you get an emotion of anger, you get an emotion of sadness. Whatever the emotion is, it's a signal from our body to say, yeah, do you know what, this is really great, or know what, you really should pay attention to this. I'm telling you, something is going on that's causing the body to highlight a signal, a cortisol signal around, there's stress here, there's sadness here, whatever. So every emotion you have is a friend to embrace and open a conversation with.
Love it.
That's what I really believe. And then it's acting on that emotion. So a lot of people will actually feel an emotion. No, they have this feeling, whatever it is, like the stress levels, a gut wrench, the sweaty palms, increased heart rate, whatever that signal is. But people say, oh, it'll be fine. I need to get this next thing done. Once I have this job done in 5 or 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that'll go away and I'll be fine. I'll go on to the next thing. But really taking time to really listen to your body and act on what your body is telling you. I think that's, for me, is a key secret and a key element of what I think Heartmath can bring as well, around when you get that, breathe into the emotion. And there's a person who's been of high influence for me, Susan David, who talks about a model called emotional agility, which talks to this very mechanism for helping people to better notice and be, we've all heard about self-awareness, but it's really about noticing the signals from your body, accepting them, breathing into them, and then being good with them and opening up a healthy conversation with them, whether the emotion is a good, what we call a good or a bad emotion. Every emotion is a helpful emotion, and that we need to heed that and then open up a conversation and then help ourselves to actually understand what the emotion is telling us and learn from that and act on that emotion as well in an appropriate way.
I love how you say emotions are our friends. What it reminded me of, and you were saying you were very technical, back in the day, I did a lot of programming myself as well. And my teacher always said to me, error messages are your friends. So like that, if you've pain in your body, so your pain obviously manifests from an emotion, if it's, or it's at least it's a message to you to stop doing what you're doing so your body can recover.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to plug my laptop in.
Absolutely, no problem. And people are really responding are not responding, so they feel the signal, but they're not acting on the signal. And I think that's the problem. So like a programmer, maybe to carry on your analogy, if you ignore the warning signal and go shoot and just ignore it, what kind of program are you going to have, I guess? So
exactly. Exactly. And you see, and the whole point of this is we need to listen to our body. We need to listen. And you also said as well, Seamus, about cortisol. You mentioned cortisol. So when we're having different emotions, there's different physiological effects as well. So if we're feeling stressed, then there's going to be adrenaline and cortisol. And stress could be many things like fear, jealousy, resentment. All those emotions would cause some form of stress. And it's important to know that.
Our body is such a complex and brilliant system because it has all these hormones to alert us. And these are the mechanisms behind the happiness, the sadness, the oxytocin when we're happy, the cortisol when we're stressed, DHEA when we're feeling good. So we have all the bits and pieces within ourselves to help us. And we're just ignoring all the help that's there a lot of the time. So if we could notice them and appreciate what our body is telling us, we can have a much better balance in our lives. And that's what I've achieved myself, I guess. And that's what I love. And what I love working with other people to help kind of get those breakthroughs, to kind of slow down as a first mechanism. And then once you're slowing down, you've got clarity. And then you can begin to think through and process those signals properly that are there to help you, I guess,
Yeah. And Seamus, so your work is all around the heart, an awful lot around the heart, and you're a Heartmath coach, and we're going to get into that there now. But before we go into it, I think it's and there's loads of modalities out there, and everyone does different modalities for everybody. But I think the key thing is, and we talk about meditation as well, and some people run a mile when they hear meditation. But I think people do meditation when they don't even realize they're doing it. It could be mindfulness. There's loads of different types of meditation, and the heart focus technique that you're going to tell us about now is a form of a meditation, I suppose. But we really do need to slow down, and we can have more strength, endurance, more cognitive function. Our memory is so much better. We can retain information, we can recall it. And a lot of people are having problems with their memory. You can sleep better at nighttime when you slow down during the daytime. People think it's a badge of honor, if you can go all day without having to take a break. Your body needs a break, and we do have natural slumps throughout the daytime, so it's really important. So Seamus, can you talk to us about the heart work that you do, and maybe can you go into a little bit of a technique just to tell people how to do the process?
Yeah, so just a little bit about Heartmath. So Heartmath really is a and the mechanism they use is called heart focused breathing. So it's a meditation mechanism. As you said, many people maybe watching and listening will have tried meditation before, but maybe not necessarily have worked for them. So the beauty of HeartMath is it comes with some technology. Now you can use HeartMath with or without the technology, but it's really all based around heart rate variability, which is a key component of getting yourself settled and ready and being in a better place to respond to the type of signals we talked about just now. So HeartMath and heart focused breathing is really around getting your heart rate variability in a more stable place, or getting a cleaner heart rate variability. So very briefly, if people don't know or haven't heard about heart rate variability before, it's our heart and our bodies are designed so our heart is actually varying in its heart rate all the time, continuously. So we don't have a 72 beats per minute heart rate. We might have an average over 1 minute, but our heart is actually beating, say on average at 72, it's going from 60 to 90 all the time. So it's going, and that's by design. So a lot of people don't realize that. And when we're in a very stressed place, it's a very jagged signal. So we don't have a clean, smooth flow of our heart rate variability. And the smoother and the cleaner the flow of your heart rate variability, the better you're in the better position you are in to process those signals and what your body is telling you. So when you're in that jagged space where you're suffering from stress, you're getting that gut wrench, or you've got the headaches, or your heart rate is increasing, typically you're going to have a very jagged or uneven heart rate variability. So the mechanism and the demo I just do now, as regards giving a short introduction to heart focused breathing, is designed to help you move from a very jagged heart rate variability into something that's smoother, that moves you to a place where you can process those signals.
So these are like the oscillations. It's like it's oscillating all the time, and so it's having a smooth kind of an oscillation, and that kind of points the heart. And
absolutely. So you got a very smooth sine signal, basically, and the smoother that signal is, the better you're prepared to take on the life's challenges, the more clarity you've got here in the frontal part of your brain, basically. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so you shoot away and tell us how to.
So just get yourself in a comfortable position, feet planted on the floor, and just sitting nice up and straight, if you can. And just take we'll just practice 2 or 3 slower than normal breaths. So it's really getting into a smooth pattern of breathing and lower, deeper than normal breaths. So we'll just two or three of those normal, deeper than normal breaths. Full inhale, full exhale for about 5 seconds or so, but a pace that's comfortable for you. So we'll just try that and do that until you feel a pace that you're comfortable with. Full in, full out at around for around 5 seconds each time. Now, you might even find that I'm speaking differently or speaking slowly, because for me, I'm so passionate about this, I get a little bit carried away. So I can find myself even calming down now. The shoulders are dropping just from that short practice. So put your heart on your chest as you continue that slow rhythm. So that slow, comfortable rhythm that you've developed. So in those 3 breaths. So fully in, focus on your heart and chest area, and imagine you're breathing through your heart, through your chest, in that same slow, deliberate pattern. So we'll do that for about a minute or so. Again, focus on your breath coming into and out of your chest in that slow, deeper than normal rhythm that you've developed. So we'll do that for about a minute or so, Joanne. Okay, so that's just a very basic, what they call quick coherence technique. There's other more advanced techniques in the whole portfolio, let's say, of the Heartmath mechanisms. And that really goes into helping you think about specific people in your life that, again, will help you build on this feeling of energy within yourself and sharing your energy with others as well. So the whole Heartmath, I'd love to spend like the next hour talking about Heartmath, but we've only a very limited time. But their ultimate ethos is to drive more awareness globally of the power of meditation and the power of, feeling good within yourself. And automatically then, if you're feeling good, others in your life are going to feel good automatically as well.
It does. It has that knock-on effect, doesn't it? And just before I comment on that, I noticed when I put my hands, I actually placed my hands over my heart. That helped with the focus as well. I helped to bring the awareness to the heart area, and I think even doing it for 30 seconds, Seamus, would have an impact. Obviously, if you do it for longer, it has a more of an impact and a deeper impact. But even like when you're just standing waiting for the kettle to boil or something, you could focus on your breathing. And breathing is so powerful because the breathing is connected to the vagus nerve, which runs right through the diaphragm and all the organs in the body. And this is connected to the nervous system, which determines
master clock, essentially,
Yeah, exactly. It's just so powerful, folks, this whole breathing and then the heart, because Seamus, am I right that with the heart, like we have all this breathing, but when you focus on the heart, and the energy of the heart cannot be underestimated. Oh my God. There was scientific studies done. I read this on the Heartmath website page, that it's 5,000 times electromagnetically, 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. And it's also been shown that the heart actually sends the signals to the brain, and that's when the brain determines whatever's to be done next. So the brain,
we've got neurons in our hearts that are actually driving traffic to our brain. There's actually more information coming from the heart to the brain than from the brain downwards. So a lot of people automatically think your brain controls everything, but your heart is actually driving more traffic to your brain than the other way around. So it's incredible. And the power of the electromagnetic field coming from the heart is, as you said, 5,000 times more powerful than the activity or the power coming from your brain. So a very small amplitude of your brain signals, huge power coming out of your heart. So it really is the master for everything that goes on.
That's profound, Seamus. That is just so profound. And we practice things, we talk about practice things like gratitude and forgiveness. This is all from the heart energy. And that helps to amplify that energy in the heart when you practice that work. And when you're doing that heart focus technique, breathing through the heart, you can practice gratitude. You can, practice things that you love, remembering things that you love, or even somebody who has passed. I do that a lot, Seamus. My daughter died at birth, and I think of her, and so that's how I get love, and that's how that raises my vibration and the heart, I suppose, and the coherence.
And that's another part of the Heartmath, a technique called heart lock-in, where you deliberately put attention on a loved one, a person, a place, a thing, whatever is special for you, to help you really focus and feel that feeling of energy within you, which you automatically exude out to the rest of the world as well. So it's amazing. It really is. So
amazing. If you're feeling down, Seamus, or you're feeling depressed or no hope, or you're feeling disempowered, you can practice this technique and it will raise your vibration. So you can practice it through breathing. You can practice it with the lock-in method you were saying, or gratitude, remembering
absolutely
a favorite holiday or something, and it will. And I think, Seamus, you just need that split raise in the vibration to get you out of that horrible place. And
and it's not easy. And again, it goes back to Susan David as well. So her model dovetails really well with the physiological slowing down of slowing your breathing. So she talks about the self-awareness, noticing what your body is telling you. So this is something that really dovetails very nicely at different stages and again, it's up to every individual how they use the Heartmath technique with techniques like Susan David's to really help you think about what your body is telling you in that moment. So again, a split second, you can have so much control over your emotions
Yep.
By combining the techniques of slowing down and using the techniques like Susan David talked about, self-awareness, labeling, acceptance, gratitude you mentioned,
Oh, yeah.
to make and bring you into, a place of much more clarity and happiness. And I don't want to say this is like a cure-all. It's a step up on the way, but you may find it very, very appealing for you or useful for you as a mechanism to help you, realize and appreciate what's going on within your own body and what it's alerting you to, I guess. So
and a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And you can build on that. You can build on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's
and one thing I wanted to mention was the technology. We've done this without any technology at all, but Heartmath have developed a heart rate variability monitor, which just clips on your ear.
Oh,
and
wow.
then if you have tried meditation before and you're just not getting it, this is a great way to reinforce. This is a Bluetooth device, matches to an app called Inner Balance on your phone. And that really gives you instantaneous feedback on, as soon as you're doing the breathing and slowing down physiologically, you can get feedback on your device around the wave and the heart rate variability and how that's responding to your slower breathing.
Wow. Can anybody buy that, Seamus?
Anyone can buy that. So heartmath.co.uk for UK and Ireland. You can go in there and purchase that, and I'd be delighted to set up some sessions to help you and teach you how to use it as well.
Oh, I think I'm going to get one.
So it's fantastic way. So if you find meditation doesn't really work for you, this is a fantastic way to reinforce, that you are making a difference, and you can see it showing up in the smoothness of the heart rate. So typically, if you're feeling a little bit stressed, you will have that very jagged signal, and then as you breathe, you can actually get that feedback through the Inner Balance app of how that's showing up in physiologically your heart rate variabilities beginning to smooth, I guess,
Yeah, and that's the fun, because as human beings, we like to have evidence, don't we?
Yeah. No, we do. And again, it reinforces, and again, it just reinforces the fact that this is making a difference,
Yeah. Oh my God, it sure is. Just so profound. But look, there's been tons of scientific studies done to prove it and everything. And I know that this energy can be measured, this field we were talking about, but we only have devices that can measure up to 20 feet away, I believe, but it can actually go beyond. There was the Maharishi effect. We were talking about this last night and I couldn't remember the name, but I looked it up this morning. The Maharishi effect is this global mass consciousness, where it shows basically people did meditation in various different cities and the crime rates went down significantly. So it can have a massive, even if you walk into a room and someone's having an argument, you can pick it up and you just want to walk out, you want to get out of there,
Absolutely, because this ties into the We At Heart stuff, and I got those sessions running every Wednesday at 8:15 as well, and Heartmath have established a We At Heart groups that are running at the same time once a month, but I've set mine up every week at 8:15 on Wednesday evenings, because the whole ethos of Heartmath is to drive not just personal benefit, but global benefit around exactly the Maharishi effect, around the more people you've got who are really taking care of themselves, automatically their energy is really being spread across those groups, and many groups, We At Heart groups globally, are now running those sessions at the same time with the intent of really having a similar effect to the Maharishi effect.
Brilliant.
That critical mass. So again, their ethos is much more beyond the personal benefit, but it's the global benefit of everyone realizing the power they have to improve their own lives
and everybody else. So people in your family, your community, even like your energy can go far beyond, so your event is 8:15 every Wednesday evening, and you have an Eventbrite link. I'm going to put it into the show notes, and it's free for people to join.
It's free. Anyone can come along. More the merrier.
Yeah, and I joined in one of them as well, folks. And my God, it was profound. I felt for the rest of the day, I felt very focused, but very calm as well. But not calm like I was tired and needed to have a nap, or like I was very focused, and I was very my performance levels went up as well that day, and it was just a fantastic feeling. And nothing could trigger me, or at least I don't think I did have any triggers that day. But even if you were to be, if there was something that went on, you would have more control over your response rather than your reaction.
Exactly, and I think that's the beauty of Heartmath. And there's two things, or two ways you could use Heartmath. I'm sure there's many more, but it's put you in a place where you're going to respond better to stressors. So if you do Heartmath breathing, let's say for 5 or 10 minutes first thing in the morning, it's putting you in a place where your body is physiologically better set up to cope with stressors as they come along. And you can also use the Heartmath in the heat of the moment times. So if you get better at practicing Heartmath techniques and just taking a breather and a break when the fuse goes, that's another good mechanism or a good possibility for you to practice Heartmath techniques. And again, it doesn't happen automatically, it takes practice. But with practice, you can actually get very much attuned into reacting, responding to what your body is telling you in a more effective way, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I can just hear just priming everything, priming your heart energy, priming that emotional center. And it's just so great. And it's down to you having more power over how you're responding to a given situation, a circumstance or event or a person. And Seamus, I love what you say about, because so many of us are going around and we're saying things like, oh, if my husband was happy, then I'll be happy. Or if my husband only did this, it would be great. But we're trying to control and fix other people in our lives, but it really starts with ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's amazing if your response is more tolerant or level, it's amazing how others will respond. Kind, I guess.
That is the key. That is, and I've learned that. I was in a program, and I've done that over the last year or so in particular, and it's just profound. So it all starts with you. You can't change other people. Other people will change around you if they align with your energy. Or they either will align with you, or you may find that people will go out of your life, which is not a bad thing if they're not serving you, you know. So Seamus, we're coming to the very end, and we did a fantastic heart focus technique. Where can people find you? I'm obviously going to put your Eventbrite link in the show notes. Where else can people find you if they want to work with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Powering Health, and you can find me at my website as well, poweringhealth.ie. So they're probably the two easiest ways to catch me.
Okay, fantastic. I think we've covered a lot there. I'm just making sure we didn't miss anything, because this is a very, very important topic, and it's just so empowering, and it's a very simple technique to do. It's not easy initially starting off, but if you can practice it little and often, maybe that's probably the best way to go.
And it's completely custom as well. So just before, I know we're just going to end, but it's completely custom. So every person is an individual within their own right. So what works for one person will not work for another. So I think it's based on your own experience, your own stresses in your own life. You can pick this up, do 2 minutes of heart focused breathing whenever you hit some stressors. If you have some during the day, use the technique. If you don't, maybe try it first thing in the morning. And it's up to you it's really to you to suit your own life circumstances, really.
I love the idea of starting it off first thing in the morning, because it's really setting you up for the day. And I always say to people, you know, when they can't sleep at night time, you know, your sleep actually starts from the time you wake up in the morning time, because it's how your day unfolds is going to have an impact on how well you sleep at nighttime. So if you start your day off well, folks, by doing some kind of gratitude or breathing this heart focused technique, it can really set you up for the day, and you get all the benefits, including being able to sleep. And being able to sleep is going to just add on top of that as well. You know, it's going to really prime you even more.
It's so critical, basically. Yeah, absolutely.
So Seamus, I want, if you can give us a parting message, something that you really want people to be left with to empower people to have a more productive, more fulfilled, more coherent state, what would that be? What would your final parting message be?
Slow down. I think that's it.
Lovely.
Just breathe in the moment and slow down and give yourself a chance to think.
Brilliant. I love it. What a way to end the show. Fantastic. So Seamus, it's been an incredible show. I really want to acknowledge you for the work that you're doing in the world, because it is not to be underestimated. It is so powerful, and you're reaching so many people on an individual level and globally as well. And the world needs this right now. So I just want to really acknowledge you for the work. And listen, folks, you know where to reach out to Seamus. I do suggest joining in on his Wednesday evening free meditation, free heart focus techniques. Absolutely. So Seamus, on that note, thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks again, Joanne. Take care. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.